The fluorescent lights of the Springfield Elementary School hummed softly as Jack's son pushed his mop bucket down the empty corridor. It was nearly midnight, and the building was silent except for the rhythmic squeak of his cartwheels. Jack had been working as the night janitor for 3 years now, ever since his wife passed away, leaving him to raise their 7-year-old daughter Emma alone. The night shift paid better, and it meant he could be home when Emma left for school and when she returned. That as he turned the corner toward the science lab, Jack noticed something unusual. A faint, shimmering blue glow emanated from beneath the door. His first instinct was to check if someone had left equipment running, but as he pushed the door open, he froze. Huddled in the corner, no bigger than a house cat, was a creature unlike anything Jack had ever seen. It had iridescent scales that shifted between purple and silver, delicate wings folded against its back, and large, luminous eyes that stared at him with unmistakable fear. The creature was trembling. "Easy there," Jack whispered, setting down his mop. "I'm not going to hurt you." The creature's eyes widened, and to Jack's absolute shock, it spoke. The voice was small and melodic, with a slight echo as if coming from somewhere far away. "Please, don't be afraid. I mean no harm." Jack blinked several times, wondering if exhaustion had finally caught up with him. "I'm not afraid. Are you okay?" The creature relaxed slightly, its scales softening to a gentler lavender hue. "My name is Elsa, my ship ... It crashed in your schoolyard. I'm hurt." She extended one tiny foreleg, where Jack could see a nasty gash along her scaled skin, glowing faintly with that same blue light. Jack immediately knelt down, his paternal instincts kicking in. "Let me see." He examined the wound carefully. Years of treating Emma's scraped knees had taught him basic first aid. "We need to clean this. Will water hurt you?" "No," Elsa said softly. "My species can tolerate most earth elements." As Jack carefully cleaned and bandaged the small dragon's wound using the school's first aid kit, Elsa began to explain. She was a young explorer from a distant galaxy, part of a junior scientific expedition studying Earth's ecosystems. Her small scout pod had malfunctioned during atmospheric entry, and she'd crash-landed in the playground's sandbox. The impact had damaged her communication device and injured her wing. "I've been hiding here for 2 days," Elsa admitted, her voice growing weaker. "I'm so hungry, but nothing on your planet is safe for me to eat. Our biochemistry is different. Most of your food is toxic to my species." Jack's heart sank. The little creature looked up at him with those enormous, trusting eyes, and all he could think of was Emma. What if his daughter was stranded on an alien world, hurt and starving? "Sir, I can't eat," Elsa said, her voice barely a whisper now. Her scales had begun to dim, losing their vibrant color. Jack thought quickly. He remembered his dinner, a leftover pizza from Sal's pizzeria that he'd been saving for his midnight break. It wasn't much, but it was all he had. He retrieved the small box from his cart and opened it, the smell of pepperoni and cheese filling the air. "I know you said Earth food is dangerous for you," Jack said gently, breaking off a small piece of crust, "but you need energy. Maybe just a tiny bit. Sometimes when Emma is sick, even a little bit of food helps." Elsa looked at the pizza with longing and fear warring in her expression. "It could make me very ill," she whispered. "Or it could give you enough strength to fix your communicator," Jack countered softly. "I'll stay with you. If you get sick, we'll figure it out together." After a long moment, Elsa reached out with one tiny claw and took the smallest morsel of cheese. She nibbled it cautiously, then paused, waiting. 30 seconds passed. A minute. Then, to both their surprise, her scales brightened just a fraction. "It's working," Elsa breathed in wonder. "Something in your Earth cheese. The proteins are similar to our homeworld nutrition." Jack couldn't help but smile as he watched the little dragon carefully eat small portions of the cheese, her strength visibly returning with each bite. He found himself telling her about Emma, about losing his wife, about the challenges of being a single father working nights just to make ends meet. Elsa listened intently, and in return she told him about her own family light years away, who must be desperately searching for her. "You're a good father," she said after a while. "Your Emma is lucky to have you." Those simple words meant more to Jack than Elsa could know. Most days he felt like he was barely keeping his head above water, wondering if he was doing right by his daughter. Over the next few hours, with renewed energy from the pizza, Elsa managed to repair her communicator using parts from the science lab. Jack helped, following her instructions to solder tiny connections with equipment he barely understood. Finally, as dawn began to paint the sky pink, Elsa's communicator chirped to life. Within minutes, a rescue beacon had been sent, a shimmering portal opened in the schoolyard, and 2 larger dragons emerged. frantically calling for their youngling before Elsa flew through the portal to her relieved family. She turned back to Jack. "Thank you for your kindness, for seeing me not as a monster, but as someone who needed help, for giving me your pizza when you had so little yourself." She touched her tiny claw to his hand, and Jack felt a warmth spread through him, not physical heat, but something deeper. Hope, perhaps, or the simple reminder that kindness mattered, no matter how small the gesture. "Take care of Emma," Elsa said, "and tell her that somewhere in the stars, a little dragon will never forget her father's compassion." Then she was gone, the portal closing behind her with a soft shimmer. Jack stood alone in the early morning light, pizza box still in his hand, wondering if it had all been a dream. But then he noticed a single iridescent scale on his palm, glowing softly, proof that magic and kindness could exist in even the most ordinary places. He smiled, pocketed the scale, and headed home to wake Emma for school. He had quite a story to tell her,